What's going on, guys? Yasser here from 555 Construction Management. I am back with the Canadian Real Estate Channel. As you can see, I'm flying solo today. It's almost mid-April and it's snowing. I have no idea why, so we're going to try to get inside as quick as we can. Where are we going? Inside that accessory dwelling unit. That's what we're talking about today. We've showed you in other episodes how to maximize density on these residential lots. Today, you're going to get a almost finished product, about 90% complete on the interior, and the exterior finish, as you can see right behind us. Can't wait to show you guys what's happening. Okay, planning. You've heard us talk about it in other videos. We're going to touch upon it for this project. Again, it's super important when you're looking at a project for small scale residential intensification. We've alluded to this on previous episodes. In Ontario, a good blanket statement or rule of thumb is you can get 1 to 2 to up to 3 residential units on a lot via Bill 23. This lot in Hamilton, it's R zoned, which means you can get up to actually 4 units. R zoning in Toronto lets you do up to 5 units. So make sure that it's a case-by-case assessment for each city that you're operating in. For this project of this accessory dwelling unit, in the main house, we have 2 units there. So that's a legal 2-unit building bungalow with a main floor unit and then a basement unit that we converted, and then now we've built this brand new net new accessory dwelling unit. Now we're going to take you on a tour of this beautiful 700 square foot 2-bedroom accessory dwelling unit, standing in the open concept kitchen and living room. As you guys can see, from a finishing standpoint, we're really taking into consideration ROI, or the rental that's going to be coming into this property, as well as the appreciation value on the back end. So we always use our MDF style shaker cabinetry, quartz countertops, backsplash throughout. So it's a nice, bright, white, light approach that you'll never have to think about again, right? We don't want cheap countertops that are going to buckle on us in a couple years and we're coming back here to do repairs. Same with the cabinetry, you kind of built it to last. Waiting on our stainless steel appliances, we don't use the white stuff. Everything that we do is just a step higher than what your entry level would be, right? We're not getting into the crazy luxury finishes where we're going to be having what we call diminishing returns, but we're going to have that middle of the road investor grade finishes throughout all of this unit. Even items such as the trim, you got your step bevel trim all the way around with your shoe mold. And as we make our way out of the kitchen and living room area, you can see these nice big ceilings here, right? So we're at about 20 feet up towards the half cathedral ceiling, and then we get down to about 15 feet on this side, okay? When you're dealing with 500, 600, 700 square foot units, just like this one, to make it feel bigger or more grand, the cheat code is ceiling heights and windows. Okay, so the more natural light that we can get in here, and you'll even see with our main door that we have some glazing there, is the more natural light that we can get in here, the bigger ceilings that we can get in here will make 650, 700 square feet feel like it's 1,000 square feet. So that's very important on the back end for the clientele that you're trying to attract. Okay, you can see our exposed ducting above us here, just a nice cool feature. There's so many different ways that you can heat these accessory dwelling units. You can go with the heat pump units, which do cold and hot air. Here we've just gone with a traditional forced air system. We'll show you how we store these services and utilities in this unit. But for now, we'll start creeping our way back to the bedrooms of the units. So follow me. We have a closet here, bedroom number 1 behind me, and then bedroom number 2 is there. And as you turn this corner, you'll be able to see our laundry unit. It's very important for us thinking about the end user to give them more value. All right, the trifecta, we like to call it, is the ensuite laundry. So here we'll have a nice stackable that's tucked away. Number 2 is parking. If you can provide parking, or at least street parking that's not restricted, that would be a bonus. And then number 3, we'll show you back in our kitchen, is a dishwasher. Even if you can sneak in an 18-inch mini condo-sized dishwasher, we see big value and big returns with the tenant candidate pool and adding the trifecta. Okay, and then last but not least, beautiful tiled bathroom. Why is it tiled? Same thing, it's about longevity, okay? We don't put in the typical inserts or this one piece from your big box stores. We prefer tiles throughout, gives it a better look, and once again, longevity. And then let's make our way out of the bathroom, and you can get this view of the unit. All right, how do we get services to a detached ADU or a garden suite? Okay, when I'm referring to services, I'm talking about your sewer, I'm talking about your water, I'm talking about your power. You'll see there our electrical panel here. And if you want, it's optional depending on the feasibility study that we'll do for these units. Gas, okay? So your 4 services. Here we've gone fully electric. So everything you see in this unit will be electric. That includes the electric water tank and obviously the HVAC system that's tucked away up in our utility room. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second here. Prior to that, we have to get services to this building, okay? So picture this place was non-existent and we still just had our green space in the rear of the principal dwelling. The services for the ADUs or these garden suites come from the principal dwelling. So in this case, we went through the home in the basement and we've tied everything back to this unit, okay? Another way to conduct the services is bringing it around the home and going to the front. Luckily, the basement unit was vacated during the time of the rough construction portion of this project, and we were able to access it through the basement, which gave us a shorter trench versus going around the full dwelling. Once we get in here, we have to find a home for it, working with our planning team and design team and our clients. Instead of housing the utilities in the crawl space, right, because that's what we're standing on here, we've put up there a closet slash storage slash utility room. Okay, so it's kind of a multi-purpose room, and we'll show you guys a peek in a second here. The furnace is up there, our HRV system is up there, and the water tank is up there with still plenty of room to put storage. Okay, as we discussed, our ceilings get up to about 20 feet here. Okay, let's pause on that. Make sure that when you're designing these, they are in accordance with the city's bylaw, whatever city that you're operating in, to make sure that you're below the maximum height threshold, which we're basically right at that with 6 meters, which is 20 feet. So we've utilized that to the fullest extent to get our multi-purpose storage room and utility room. Utilities, what are you bringing into the unit that you need to consider? Okay, whether you're storing them in a basement, storing them in the closet, or storing them in a second story loft like we're standing in now, you'll want to consider size and space and maximizing square footage. So for us to get away from utilizing the main floor footprint and losing possible square footage with our services, we've created this secondary loft, okay? This is your electric water tank. You do have the option with going with a tankless that's gas operated to save room, or to put somewhere down in the main floor in the closet perhaps. And then we've gone with a forced air system that's combined with an electric duct heater to operate as the hot and cold air for this unit. And then lastly, in the corner there, we have our HRV and ERV system, which is a mandatory requirement under the building code for heat recovery ventilation. All right, let's do a little bit of a numbers talk. We've talked a lot about construction throughout this project, talked about the rough construction and bringing the services in, our utility room, what the finishes look like. But what's the budget look like? Okay. In other episodes, we've talked about kind of baseline numbers for garage retrofit conversions to accessory dwelling units. We said the starting point is usually about $100,000, depending on the square footage and any reinforcement and any other factors that will contribute to the budget. Number 2 is new garden suites or brand new ADUs, meaning there is nothing in the backyard except for grass. What do those cost? Well, The entry level is usually around $200,000, okay? But there's so many factors that can make that number balloon up to 250 or maybe 300 or maybe even beyond 300, okay? That comes down to the avenue of the project. Are we adding a basement? Are we doing a crawl space? Are we doing a mono slab? Are we doing 1 story? Are we doing 2 stories, right? So these are all factors that we'll have to consider in our feasibility assessment so that we can see what our returns are going to be, right? Dollars going out and dollars going in. So for this project specifically, the construction bill is about $225,000. We're a single story here. We're closer to about 700 square feet and we're 2 bedrooms in the Hamilton West Mountain area. Each municipality is going to have different rents that are coming in. So I'll speak for this area. Should be somewhere around $2,200, $2,300 conservatively. So if you do that times 12, you're looking at maybe about $25,000 a year. So you have to look at the lifetime that it'll take to pay back the investment, right? So you do some numbers, 225 broken down by $25,000 should take you somewhere between 8 to 10 years to pay that back. But at the same time, the appreciation that you've forced onto this property is yet to be assessed, right? So you're bringing in the rent to pay off the investment. And then in the future years, that's going to be 100% rental income. And then beyond that, you have your appraised value, okay? As you can see, we're pretty darn close to the finish line here. On the inside, we are working on our deficiency list to make sure this place looks beautiful for our clients. And on the exterior, obviously, we are wrapping up our exterior finish. But something you should consider at the beginning of your project when you're doing that thorough planning, city grants. It's getting now more popular than ever. You're seeing the federal government coming down with what's called the Housing Accelerator Fund and incentivizing municipalities to add density on residential lots via interior units like a basement suite or detached units like what we're standing here now, a brand new ADU, a brand new garden suite. In previous episodes, we've talked about what St. Catharines has to offer. It's one of our favorite programs, $40,000 for an interior unit and $80,000 for a detached unit. Think about the numbers that we run and the rate of return and the rental income that's coming in, but how quicker can you pay back that investment with a grant from the city. In Hamilton, they do have a $25,000 forgiveness loan. The details are on their website. It's not $80,000, but it's still $25,000. So that is something that you want to assess on your way into the project to make sure that your numbers are as tight as can be. Okay, on a future episode, bit of a cliffhanger here, we are going to the city of Burlington where they've just announced that they're accepting applications and permits for accessory dwelling units. They actually call them ARUs out there, accessory residential units, and we have a sneak peek at their grants. And I'll leave you with this. It's better than the city of St. Catharines. All right, guys, that's it for this project. Happy that you guys have popped in to check out our latest accessory dwelling unit in Hamilton. We have many more of these to show you guys as we are now sponsored with the Canadian Real Estate Channel. We have so many more projects to show you guys over the next few months. In the meantime, make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow the Canadian Real Estate Channel. Tons of our content will be on there. I'm Yasser from 555 Construction Management. If you have any questions for our teams, until then, we'll catch you guys in the next one.